There's a crazy story about a couple that was very poor living in Israel and had some good news. Their daughter had got engaged. And everyone was saying, Mazel Tov, was so excited, but the excitement quickly turned to anguish when the parents started to see some of the costs, because you want to have a nice wedding and you want to do it in a nice hall and you want to have kosher food and you want to have music and you want to have an ambiance and you want to have your friends and family to come. And the price tag was astronomical, especially for a poor family. And they didn't know what to do. And they didn't want their daughter to be deprived. So the father decided he was going to go travel to America to try to raise some funds. So before he left, he consulted with his rabbi. The rabbi said to him, not everyone's going to be able to give and not everyone's going to give generously. So no matter what happens, whether someone gives $100 or $50 or even just $10, make sure to always smile and to say thank you. So he heads on his journey, and sure enough, he was put to the test multiple times. Slam doors, very small contributions, and he managed to keep the smile going and to keep the thank yous going. But he was down to one day left, and there was still $18,000 left to raise. And a friend pointed him in the direction of a wealthy community. You never know, give it a try. He went to the community. He approached a home, a very large home, fancy cars in the driveway, and he was welcomed inside. He explained his plight. It was now towards the end of his journey. This is one of the last homes. He's short over $18,000. Could he help him? And the man said, yeah, he'd be happy to help. He took out a $10 bill. He had to move past all the hundreds to get to the 10, but he found the 10. And he had a pet dog. So the wealthy man gave the $10, put the $10 bill in the dog's mouth. The dog's mouth then made its way over to the father for the father to take the $10 from the dog. And the father's thinking, wow, not only am I getting this small amount from this very wealthy individual, I have to put my hand in the dog's mouth to retrieve the money. And he felt humiliated. And he really was tempted to just scream out. But he remembered, his rabbi said, smile, thank you. So he did just that. And even commented, you seem to have a really good dog. And the wealthy man said, what do you mean? So he said, well, the Talmud says that a person shouldn't raise an evil dog or a bad dog. So that seems to imply that there are good dogs. There's an alternative. And here you have a dog who even gets involved in doing mitzvahs, giving tzedakah. That's really nice. So the man said, if you could do me a favor, could you go across the street, the house right across the street from us, and tell the man in that house what you just told me about my dog? So now the guy's thinking, wow, now I'm his messenger also. I'm a gopher, but okay, fine. Smiles, sure, happy to do it. He goes across the street. He tells the older fellow across the street about the man's dog. And all of a sudden, he sees this older fellow runs across the street and starts hugging the wealthy man who he had just met with. And he comes back to find out what's going on. And it turns out that this elderly gentleman was his father-in-law. And for the past several years, the father-in-law had given the wealthy man a really hard time about that dog. It's so bad that you have this dog. It's so terrible. Dogs are bad. And it was just a point of conflict that made it so hard for them to live in harmony together. And now they were embracing. And the wealthy man said he was so grateful. He took out his checkbook and wrote a check for $18,000. We have a king. We're waiting for the Messianic king, but we have a king that's immortal. We have an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving king who's watching out for us in heaven. But sometimes We have obstacles. Sometimes things don't go the way that we wanted or the way we expected. And sometimes we're even tempted to lash out. But our King always has our back. So our job is just to put in a reasonable effort. And even when things don't go as expected or as desired, we say, Gam zu l'tova. Everything that happens is for the best. It's not just important to judge other people favorably and give them the benefit of the doubt. It's also important to give God the benefit of the doubt. And just because things didn't go the way that we had hoped doesn't mean that there isn't a divine plan behind the scenes. So I want to give a blessing to all of us that we're able to see God's hand in everything that happens to us. But even when we can't see it, and even when things seem dark and gloomy, that we find the strength to be able to say, Gam zu l'tova, that this was for the best, to truly understand and believe that there's a God, that there's a King who's watching us, and everything that happens really is for the best. Thank you all so much.